For about 18 months now, I have been asked almost constantly about a single library. What are my thoughts about the library? Do I like it? Do I use it? Do I recommend it? And this library has some really weird properties. Its syntax is completely unreadable. It is a batteries included framework, and blimey, if you like batteries, you're going to love this one. It has enough batteries included to save the planet from global warming. And it has an enormous, and I mean enormous, learning curve. But after 18 months of skirting around the subject and actually trying it, I think I can finally say, I think you should learn Effect. Effect is a TypeScript library, and I would say it's the maybe most TypeScript of all TypeScript libraries. What it says on the landing page is absolutely right. It maximizes type safety, including type-safe errors. It makes your code more composable, reusable, and testable. That is absolutely true. And it's an extensive library with a rich ecosystem of packages. There's the batteries that I was talking about earlier. Now, while you can technically run Effect on the front end, I really think of it as a back-end only, powerful framework for building robust applications. But here's the thing that turns most people off Effect as soon as they see it. It is the syntax. We are using generators here. We have a program which is being returned from effect.gen, which receives a generator function in here. Fetch transaction amount is an effect here, and we can yield star other effects in order to resolve them. So we yield this effect in order to grab the transaction amount, and we yield this effect in order to fetch the discount rate. Finally, we calculate them together using another thing where we call this, which returns an effect, which we then yield to get the discounted amount. And you're looking at all of this, I know right now, and thinking, oh my god, what has Matt got me into? All of this looks freaking horrible. I never want to touch this code in my life. Yes, what you're experiencing is exactly what I experienced when I first looked at this code. But here's what I'd encourage you to think. Remember when you first looked at Tailwind code? These huge, long, disgusting class names. And then you tried writing some Tailwind code and you realized, oh, it's actually really nice to use. This disgusting syntax allows some TypeScript magic that I have never seen from any other library. And yeah, it looks like a separate language, and that's kind of how you should think of Effect. It's like a separate language that happens to work with all of the normal TypeScript tooling like Prettier and TypeScript and ESLint, etc. So the syntax is pretty gross, but it does give you some enormous benefits. The first thing that Effect gives you is type safety on errors. My first experience using Effect was in my work monorepo, where I have a bunch of workflows for audio and video. This is a piece of demo code that should give you an idea of what it actually looks like. In the extract audio from video function, we have an effect.function which receives a function generator. This receives a file name, which is the file that we want to turn into some audio. If the file name doesn't end with .mp4, we don't throw an error here, we yield star an error. And this error is actually one that we have custom defined up here called incorrect file name error. We give it a name here, and we even declare some custom shape on it so that we can pass custom attributes. Now this looks pretty cool, but why don't we just throw the error? What is this about the yield star thing? Well, if we hover over extract audio from video, we can see that it returns an effect.effect, which is a string, which is the thing that it actually returns. Well, if we hover over extract audio from video here, we can see this interesting type here. We can see it's a function that takes in file name string, of course, and returns an effect. This effect tracks what the function returns when it's successful, which is this string here, but it also tracks which errors may occur in this function. In this case, there's only one called the incorrect file name error. But one amazing thing about Effect is when we go to use this function, these errors will also be tracked there. We can zoom down to this workflow program here. This is using effect.gen, which instead of receiving any parameters, just returns the effect directly instead of a function that returns an effect. We can see here that we're using an external service called AI service. I'll get to what this means in a minute, but as you can imagine, it's pretty cool. Inside here, we are creating the audio file and then extracting the transcription from the audio file using ai.transcribe audio. As it turns out, transcribe audio may also fail, which means that this workflow at the top now tracks the incorrect file name error or the transcribe audio failed error. This tracking works over an enormous call stack as well, a potentially infinite call stack. So while you're used to TypeScript tracking the success values of your program, in other words, the string here, the thing that will actually sort of result from this program running, it should feel pretty unfamiliar to have these errors being tracked in this really neat way. If we want to catch these errors, we have several options for how to do that. We can do it at the workflow level here by using a pipe just here and passing in effect.catch tag. This catch will only work for the incorrect file name error, but if we want to swap it, then of course we have autocomplete on the difference here. Here we just console.error e.message and then resolve the failure as an effect.succeed. In other words, we change the failure to a success here. But of course you could handle this any way that you want to. We could also just take this entire piece of logic and just move it up to this extract audio from video call up here. This is kind of like just wrapping this little section there in a type-safe try-catch. And now, of course, the incorrect file name error is no longer present in the final effect because we're handling it inside. Overall, you should get a picture for how powerful and flexible effect error handling really is. You can kind of half-ass this yourself if you want to. There's an extremely common pattern called the result type, but all of the homebrewed library sort of result type things that I've come up with haven't felt as flexible as effect. And I may do another video on comparing kind of a homebrewed thing that I've built with how effect handles errors, because the difference is night and day. Next, we should talk about the other big thing that made me fall in love with effect. I was able to imitate kind of some of effect's error handling with a library called Neverthrow, which is a really sweet library if all you need is this type-safe error handling behavior. And so for a long time I was pretty sniffy about effect because I was like, can't I just do this with Neverthrow? Until I realized how good effect's dependency injection story is. Let's go back inside our workflow here. And for now I'm going to remove all of this kind of effect.catch tag thing we had before. You notice that inside here I'm grabbing const AI equals yield star AI service. If we head to AI service, you can see that it's a class that extends effect.service. There's more absolutely bonkers syntax here, it's all pretty gross, but what's essentially happening here is we are creating a service which we can later inject into our program. Currently this service only has the method transcribe audio, where half of the time it will fail with a transcribe audio failed error and the other half of the time it will succeed with this fake transcription. So inside our workflow again, when we yield star this AI service, we get access to the AI service and the transcribe audio method. But let's say I now try to run this workflow by piping it to effect.runPromise. That's how you run an effect, by the way. You essentially call it with effect.runPromise or effect.runSync. You'll notice though that I'm getting an error when I try to do that. At the bottom of this long error, we can see that type AI service is not assignable to type never. What's happening here is incredibly cool. Not only is effect tracking the success values of our program, not only is it tracking the errors, it's also tracking the dependencies of each function. If we hover over workflow at the top here, we can see that in the third type parameter of effect.effect, we now have AI service. If I comment out the code below and hover back over workflow, we can see that it's now reverted to never. So this is why this error is happening. We are attempting to run our workflow without having provided an implementation of AI service. In other words, we need to inject the implementation of transcribe audio before we can successfully run our program. We can do that by calling effect.provide AI service.default before effect.runPromise. This provides the default implementation that we saw when we looked at AI service in here. In other words, all this transcribe audio stuff. Note too how you can command click on transcribe audio to go to the implementation. I always love that. But what if we wanted to provide a different implementation than the default? Maybe to mock the dependency during tests or something. Well, we can do that as well. We can say effect.provide service, calling it with the AI service and then creating a new AI service in here. This version of transcribe audio will always succeed with the foo, so it won't error anymore. And hopefully you should be seeing the power of this paradigm here. It makes your code so modular, so easily testable, and it also just changes the way that you code too. Even in my relatively simple local app, I've defined maybe 30 different services, and these services I can test independently, or I can mock them in tests, or I can test a bunch of them in integration tests. And it means that inside these effect generators, you actually get to focus a lot on business logic, and testing the business logic becomes trivial. What I've found is my flow tends to be write the business logic first, then sort of create these kind of typed holes in my application that I then go back and implement later. And so effects dependency injection has been a winner for me, and something that takes it over the top of rivals like Neverthrow, let alone the fact that it's fully type safe end to end. Oh my god. Finally, let's talk about all the frickin' batteries. We've covered error management and requirements management here, but there's tons more. Resource management, observability, which is a huge one. Effect.function actually wraps this piece of code in a span in OpenTelemetry. I've actually noticed a mistake. I should actually be calling this extract audio from video, this span here, because that ends up being the name of the span. And so all the code you're writing here is automatically instrumented for you and able to be exported to a trace viewer. Effect has built-in kind of configuration options too that allow allow you to get type-safe access to process environment variables. There's an entire cron module here for scheduling. There's state management, batching, caching. Concurrency is a huge one. Effect has this entire fiber model, which is kind of like working with promises, where you can just sort of promise all various things, except of course all of the errors and dependencies are still tracked for you. Incredible. There's a whole load of stream stuff that I've actually never dived into. Syncs, testing with test clocks, data types with either, an exit, an option, a cause. Whatever this is not a lean core here. Effect is a big, fat, batteries included standard library. So what that means is when you invest into it, you get back all of these pre-made solutions to difficult problems, including of course common application designs like APIs. There's even an entire schema validation library. So yeah, Effect is massive. Now you're probably getting the vibe that I quite like Effect, and so let's do a kind of Q&A here to finish. A lot of you will be looking at this code, especially this pipe operator here, and thinking, ooh, isn't this functional programming? To which I would say technically yes, but hell no. Functional programming is so burnt out as a brand that I genuinely don't think it should be used to describe anything. I've found the functional programming community on the whole to be pretty gatekeepy. They have their way of thinking about things and working through problems, which is pretty maths driven, that I totally cannot connect with at all. And so yes, Effect is technically a monad, but you won't find the word monad at all in Effect docs. And they've consciously driven away from the functional programming branding and all the horrible, messy language that goes along with that, which I wholeheartedly agree with. And another thing here, if you're going to bend the language this much in order to achieve something, isn't it better to just use an entire other language? Like, why not write your program in Rust? Now, of course, you could do that, you know, if you want a faster program but longer compile times, a harder learning curve, all that stuff. You could totally do that. And of course, Rust is extremely popular for that reason, because it's very good. But I do think there is space in TypeScript for a library tackling these kind of challenges. And there might be a lot of teams out there thinking, oh, I don't want to really hire Rust devs, but I've got this really hardcore backend project I need to build, and I've just got a load of TypeScript developers. Why don't we just train them on Effect, and we'll probably end up with a pretty decent code base? That, I think, is the decision space where Effect really shines. And the final one here is, can it be incrementally adopted? As you can imagine here, the more Effect you have, obviously, in your system, the better, because then if you have this huge blob of Effect, then all of the error handling within that blob will be pretty much type safe. Or of course, you could have much smaller blobs here that are all type safe within themselves. It's also very easy to run non-Effect code from within Effect. In other words, you have most of your code as a big Effect blob, but you have some old libraries, some legacy stuff kind of in separate little contained areas. Or of course, a very common one, external libraries that are not Effectful. So yeah, the incremental adoption story is actually really good, and of course much better than it would be in something like Rust. And of course, the TypeScript ecosystem is the best in the world in my opinion. And so being in TypeScript means you get access to it for free. So friends, what do you think of Effect? Is this weird language that we're looking at actually worth it? Personally, I feel like I'm writing some of the best code in my career using Effect. But as always, I'm keen to know what you think. Thanks so much for joining along, and I will see you in the next one.